Welcome, welcome, welcome. Family, we already on one. We have such a great treat for you today. But I want to say that we're serious about our play. Like, we know how to have fun and teach because we are reaching back into the portal of who we really are. And so I've always been one that believed that learning should be fun. So since the purpose of our podcast is to help you to recognize who you are and to help you in helping you do that, you will join the mystery school if you are here for that purpose. And we do believe we have purposes. So we're reaching out for the family we have yet to meet. And in that, we are doing this podcast from zero to SHERO. If you don't have a ticket for this particular podcast, because this particular podcast, like I said in my preview, I did a preview for you guys. Well, like I said in my preview, we're going to do a story time. And this story time is going to be from the finish line. So we basically, the finish line is the starting line too. From the starting line. So we're going to travel back in time to the starting line. And we're basically going to do that story time with our ancestors, with some guidance. So while we're using our imagination in this play, it's also going to be fun seriousness. Like, so we're saying don't play with yourself. If you don't have your ticket, don't try to sneak on. Because you might go wrong with that one. What you want to do is you want to go back and watch the previous video where we talk about the two cradles of thought, because that's what we are stepping into, two cradles of thought with our story time. And you want to watch Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance, because he and his team unleashed something that may even be beyond his own understanding. He there were a lot of us trying to get on and intellectualize what he did, but those of us who are spiritual, we saw the cosmic explosion. We saw something deeper. Okay, so you want to review that as well, and you can come back and take the trip. The bus will still be coming through. Okay. So the broadcast, God is willing, will be available to you. But for the rest of us, we are going to get ready to board this galactic bus, this galactic space flying bus. We got a flying bus. I think there used to be a little cartoon about the flying bus. They were supposed to be flying. Their bus would take off and they'd start learning about things.
Magic school bus.
The magic school bus. Okay. So, yeah, it's going to be similar to that today. Except we're going to be tapping into
school bus. It's going to be
some of the real stuff, right? Some of the real magic.
Your school bus. Spiritual tool bus. School bus.
Okay. Right. So with that being said, go ahead, those of you who thought that we were not serious, that we was playing, go ahead and, pause now. Go watch those two broadcasts. Get your ticket. That's your ticket. And we'll see you on the other side. Love you. All right. All aboard! I am your tour guide, Sharifa Amin. I will be escorting you all through the seen and unseen. Shalina, she is your spiritual doula. She emits spiritual light. She is essential to our journey, beloved, because we will be traveling by night. Travelers, please put on your spiritual seatbelt. As we are about to take flight, the air pressure may change as we ascend. So please follow our instructions as you begin to go within. Travelers, let there be a suspension, a brief suspension of all your fears.
Take a deep breath. Breathe.
Travelers, let us travel back in time where a day is as 1,000 years.
Take a deep breath. Breathe.
Travelers, let there be an increase within your inner sight.
Take a deep breath. Breathe.
Let us begin to travel at the speed of light.
Take a deep breath. Breathe.
Travelers, let there be clarity in our imagination.
Take a deep breath in. Breathe.
Let our divine mothers begin our elevation.
Travelers, take a deep, deep breath. And breathe.
Travelers, let us first visit the original nation.
Take a deep breath. Breathe.
Travelers, let us be recognizing that our second visit will be the Eden plantation.
Take a deep breath. And breathe.
Travelers, know that what we have been given is not what we originally got. Before there ever was, there was not. Our need for expression began to take form. And as our passions awakened, there was chaos and storm. The passions, the embers of all our desire created great fire. And in the midst of our ecstasy, we felt an urge to suddenly weep, creating our primordial waters, which flooded into the deep. From the waters we gave birth to our daughters. From the fires we gave birth to our sons. We divided the waters from the fires, the daughters from the sons, each in their separate stations, though they would function together as one. He we stationed in the sky. She we stationed in the earth. And in the darkness of our primordial womb, we prepared for their birth. Our son would rule the day so that our children would be able to play. Our daughter would rule the night to provide our children with inner light. Our vision was unfolding, and it was very, very good. We began our dance and prepared them a home with rivers, trees, herbs with seeds, and fields where they both and the animals would roam. And finally, when all our work was through, we gave birth to ourselves as our children. And we became visible too. And so, yes, we too moved from zero to SHERO. And we celebrated ourselves as we reminded them as us of what to do. You are blessed. You are abundant. You will multiply. The earth is replenished by you. Under you all things will be subdued. You have dominion over everything that moves. You rule it all. And after we had created the best of ourselves, we took our rest within ourselves. Ashe. Ashe. Ashe.
Travelers, take a deep breath. Breathe. Take a deep breath. Breathe.
Travelers, this concludes our tour of the original nation. And now that we have breathed, we will come into station.
Take a deep breath. Breathe.
What were our observations of the original nation?
So powerful. So powerful. It begins. So powerful. So I need to let I need to breathe for a minute. because that was so extremely powerful. When you close your eyes and you understand that you literally just took a trip. Mm, mm, to the beginning of all things. And then to find out that you're the beginning of all things. And all things come through you and are made from you and are in the image of you. Mm, mm. From the waters to the sky, baby. All things. And then you rested because you knew you created the best and you wanted to observe what you created. And you wanted them to be abundant and multiply and be fruitful because they are a reflection of you. So you are a reflection of yourself. And you are of the star. You are of creation. The very essence and air that we breathe. I mean, literally. I had to sit with my eyes closed. Travelers, take a breath. Seriously. Breathe. Because that's a different kind of air right there. That's a different kind of air right there. Ashe indeed.
You know, as that revelation unfolds for us, what I recognize is the male and female principle operating together in a dance of sorts. And what I recognize is that all of creation contains that male, female, that masculine, feminine principle. So that when we look at the waters as the daughters, the fire as the sun, and we call the sun, just a slightly different spelling. The waters as the daughters being how that the moon is called the lesser light but controls the waters. Our cycles as the feminine. And how they appear in their elements to be opposite, the water putting out the fire, but that the fire boiling the water. But they work yet together. The oneness in how they move. And when we reflect even on the scriptures that our mothers wrote, the Genesis or the Isis story, it says that we called the man, this male and this female, so that they had the same birthday, if you will. We came through together. The portal. We came through together. And we knew how to recreate ourselves because in the chaos, the invisible parallels the visible. So in the chaos, we knew that in our coming into oneness, into ecstasy, that we would multiply, just like we manifested through the unity of ourselves, which created great passions and great explosions. When we manifested as male and female, knowing that we would again come together and multiply, and that intimacy would create. That's why, to me, sex is sacred. It is a portal within itself. It may have been gentrified. I've come to like that word. by those who are asleep, who were made to be asleep, who were made to be asleep to the originals, to the gods, who were made to be enemies of the gods. Sex has been debased into pornography, debased into some animalistic act. And I had to even take away from the animals some of the things that are done to children and pedophilia and the whole 9 yards. Because if you were to have known or to have returned to who you really were, you would know that sex is a portal. Intimacy in itself is more than a physical act. It is a return to the original primordial awakening. So they had to basically gentrify every single act of sacredness, of who we are, had to be seemingly made into something evil. But that is where I will leave us in terms of my thoughts, travelers, of the journey that we have embarked on into the original nation. Let that remind you of our original station. Because we will be comparing this to the next journey we will be taking, to the Eden plantation. And I call it a plantation for more than one reason. Yes, any garden is a plantation. When you make a place where you have plants, it becomes a plantation. But in this nation called America, plantation took on another definition. And travelers, it is my belief as your tour guide that the Eden plantation established its definition of a plantation originally in the scriptures, that America would come to be known as the nation of the slave plantation. If you've ever read the Willie Lynch speech, you will note that he gives much honor to the King James Version of the Bible. And I believe it's because their pseudocodes were hidden on the Eden plantation of how to make a slave. We are going to pause for a moment before we take flight, because there's a certain wardrobe that I, as your guide, must be in. A certain energy I must take on to guide us into the Eden plantation in the beginning of that nation. Ashe. Travelers, I hope that you have enjoyed your brief debriefing. And we are going to begin to breathe again. Take deep breaths as our guide, our sister guide leads us, because we are now in the uniform of a plantation. We had to change our wardrobe in order to go into this nation. And I wanted to be two things for you as your guide. I wanted to be able to camouflage because there is one there who's in bondage that I will need to send a staff to go subtly up to in order to try to help them remember who they could be. Though they weren't formed like you and me, I still sent my staff into that garden plantation. So I wear the colors of greenery and the colors of magic. Let us begin, travelers, our de-escalation into the Eden plantation.
Take a breath. Breathe.
Travelers, generations of heaven and earth would give way to one who wanted earth over heaven. One would come from amongst us, travelers, who had a different mind. He convinced 1/3 of our children to become unkind. He wanted more than earth to fall under his rule. He wanted to rule all the gods, to be lords over the gods, and to be cruel. In those days, travelers, we knew our powers. Even the days obeyed you down to the very hour. But this one, traveler, he planted a garden called Eden. And he refused to let it rain. He genetically modified our children, travelers, and put one to work for gain. He named him Adam. He told him he was dust. He made Adam to work and called him Lord on his plantation. And he told him never to make a fuss. When Adam felt lonely, the Lord commanded that he give the animals names. He claimed it was to see what Adam would name them. But in truth, travelers, it was to increase Adam's pain. Even the animals had mates. And so poor Adam felt alone. Here the Lord places Adam into a deep sleep so that the Lord could mentally secure his throne. Travelers, he never woke Adam up. And in pretense, he begins his second or first fear. He shows Adam a woman and claims he took her from his rib. Well, maybe it's not his first fear, maybe it's his second, because he also claimed to have given Adam his breath. Another fib he told to Adam was that if Adam took of knowledge to know the difference between good and evil, it would cause Adam's death. Travelers, this Lord was a liar from the beginning of his Eden plantation / prison. And that is why the knowledge between good and evil had to be strictly forbidden. So, travelers, we sent our staff as a serpent to Eve while she was asleep. Our staff member was wise and she was subtle, and she knew how to creep. The woman, while asleep, was fed ancient wisdom. We asked her just a question. Did God forbid you knowledge? Eve said yes, thinking that this Lord was their God. And so our staff revealed one more ancient wisdom. You will not surely die. But he knows that the day you eat of this fruit, your eyes will be opened. And we left it at that, travelers. The woman shared the ancient knowledge with her man. And this is when their eyes became opened. This is when they took their stand. But their stand was short-lived, travelers, because Adam failed the storm. When the Lord was angered by their sight, Adam became forlorn. And so Adam blamed his wife. And Eve blamed her friend. The Lord launched a massive strike of curses and convinced them of their sin. Travelers, right here, I'd like you to take a note. If you're familiar with the Gospels and the Christ story of Jesus, the Pharisees constantly tried to convince him of sin. This Lord drove them from the plantation into the caves of the wild. He continued to manipulate them, travelers, and even gave Eve a child. According to scriptures, read it carefully. He played favorite with their sons and caused one to murder the other. Then he placed a protection on the murderer and sent him into the lands of our mothers. My beloved travelers, I believe this is where we began the Eve of man. This, my beloveds, is what you must all come to understand. And knowing this truth is how we will rise again when we truly know the difference between mankind and man.
Travelers, take a deep breath. Breathe. Just one more time, travelers. Take a deep breath. Breathe.
Travelers, this concludes our tour of the Eden Plantation.
Take a deep breath. Breathe.
Travelers, let us slowly exit and ascend from the doors of our imagination.
Travelers, let's take a deep, deep breath. Breathe. One more time. Take a deep, deep breath. And breathe.
Ashe, ashe. As we debrief, what are your thoughts, travelers, in our divine light of what we have just seen?
Family, we are all traveling together. I gotta touch on this. I gotta touch on this. The Sibyls, our original mother. I feel it. Oh, me. Only thing that they wanted to do was take the words, the prophecies that they were given, and give them out. What had destroyed the Sibyls was the black man. Because the Sibyls, the original, were black women. She was destroyed by the very man that she helped give the word that she was given. Eve was given a divine word, a single question. Mm, mm, mm. Just a single question. She took that revelation and she spread that revelation. And the awakening, the true awakening came. But when the Lord of the plantation came and asked, Sir, who told you this?
Yes.
The first thing he did was point to his woman, who was in essence his mother, because she gave him that information.
Yeah.
And he was so scared of it. When push came to shove, that he turned his back and betrayed her.
Yeah.
Family, please keep that in mind. We're changing things here.
Yeah.
Because it's when you decided way back then to turn your back on the original word that you had gotten and decide to believe in what the plantation was giving you, that it all started going to the real hell in a handbasket.
Yeah.
I just need you to just let that sink in a little bit. In this garden, this plantation that they had you call Eden. Eve. Evening. And if Adam was never given breath again, if he was never arisen again, and it was just Eve, the evening from all things came from the darkness. Family, I'm just moving right now. Sister, at any point in time, you can jump in.
Do you, love?
If Adam was never given his breath back, if Adam was never given his breath back, but then he was able to say who betrayed him, then who gave him his breath back? Was it the very woman who awakened him, who gave him that new breath? That she had received herself? She awakened him back up into his original self. I'm just crawling down this path. I'm just crawling down this path that you have opened up for me, sis.
Wow. That's powerful. That is so powerful. One of the things that I was given, travelers, and I was just recently given this a day before our broadcast, because this particular plantation has been unfolding for me for 18 years. But the Lord of the plantation, He knew that they would crave knowledge. That's why He put it in the center of the garden. It was an experiment that He knew they would fail all along. He set them up for failure to fill them with guilt, because He knew that if they lived in guilt, if they felt that they were unworthy, that He could rule them forever.
Come on, sis. Come on. Come on. I feel it so good.
The tree of knowledge was in the center of the garden, which on a deeper level is in the center of the self. But if you look at the nation, the Eden plantation, He put knowledge in the center. There was nowhere way they could go without seeing this tree. He didn't put it where they couldn't get to it. He set them up for failure. The difference between the original creation and the Eden plantation. Our creators, our creatrix, love us. We are their image. They give us their legacy. The plantation creates slaves and makes you think you in paradise, fills you with guilt. You can never get it right. Because your very presence is a danger. To a pseudo world, a pseudo nation. Your very presence is an act of danger to a pseudo nation. You weren't allowed knowledge of good and evil. You weren't allowed to read, because when you pick up that Bible, even after He told you, Nat Turner, what the Bible was supposed to say, Nat Turner, your codes will decode any pseudocode. So, family, I like to count the number. Back when I was a little girl, we couldn't say lie. If somebody told the untruth, we had to call it a fib. So I like the fact that the family gave me the word fib, how many fibs he told, because it rhymed with the rib, which was I thought the first fib was the rib. It might have been the second fib, because the first fib, well, he claimed he gave Adam his breath. Hell, if anything, he took his breath. I know the breath to be the aeration, the what we breathe on a magical level is essence. Our goddess has taught us, and please join the Vicky Dillard Mystery School, that there is a magic unknown to science about this invisible substance we breathe.
So much in the unknown, though. So much in the unknown.
Okay.
Mm. That's where all the answers lie.
Okay.
That's where all the answers lie. In the unknown, that's where all the answers lie.
Come on. That blackboard that Shalina talked about, that Akashic record, you are made behind, you are in that blackness because the blackboard is you, boo. Ah! Everything that was ever written is in you, mitochondrial goddess.
And everything that will ever be written is in you.
Shay. So we know one fib was the rib. And let's talk about that a little bit more. Because our whole goal in this first, second, and third divine feminine discussion perspective of the two cradles of thought, did man come out of woman or did woman come out of a man? We see where we even got this pseudo thought of woman coming out of man. This rib, which science says there's no rib missing out of no man except somebody broke his rib and now it's broken. But scientifically, ain't no rib missing. So somebody lied. And I want to give you all, travelers, as we debrief, something profound that was given to me as I was pondering thoughts about this travel we would take. We have to begin to understand the difference between faith and make-believe. Let me give you an example. We're using our imaginations right now. We are playing, we are telling this story, but we are telling this story to discover what's real and what's unreal. Ashe? Because we can only live from that which is real. If we want to live our best lives. Otherwise, we are not really living. We are sleepwalking. We are the living dead. So, I went to Merriam-Webster, and I said, okay, let me look up what you asked, and I'm going to give you, because you're going to get Merriam-Webster's definition, then you're going to get Sharifa Amin's definition, because I am the goddess. Merriam-Webster, that's mankind. They came from that situation over there at the Eden Plantation, so their view, their sight is limited. But in Merriam-Webster, make-believe means to pretend that what is real is not real. That is their definition, to pretend that what is real is not real. And their definition of faith is a firm belief in something for which there is no proof. I didn't like neither one of their definitions. I didn't like neither one.
Wait a second. Aren't those the same thing? Just worded differently?
Basically, they don't know the difference. So that's what's going on to me in really these Western Christian churches. Is make believe and faith are being called the same thing. And therefore, you're getting a lot of what I call pseudocode. It looked like the real thing, but it ain't. And you're wondering why you keep short-circuiting.
Child, family. Woo. That's how I know we shaking everything up. We shaking up everything. Everything. Just a little bit like this. We're just shaking it all up. Girl, keep shaking. Hold on. I'm gonna use mine as a seatbelt here. Hold on. Let me open my wings back up and catch this flight. Maybe all the way in it. Girl, shaking it all up. Okay. Loving it. Lug it. Drop it.
Okay. So, family, take notes because travelers, your guide, your travel guide, Sharifa, the definition of faith is what I'm going to start with. Faith is observing and learning natural laws and then learning the art of applying them in the unseen in order to bring those things which are invisible into the visible, thereby discovering and creating supernatural laws. I know I said a mouthful, so I'm going to say it again. Faith is observing and learning natural laws, and then learning the art of applying the natural laws in the unseen, the invisible, in order to bring those things which are invisible into the visible, thereby discovering and creating supernatural laws. Because a miracle is nothing more than a discovered supernatural law that a magician is bringing about. That's all a miracle is.
And that's what I was just thinking. So you're practicing magic by moving in your face. Is what you're saying. Is that I'm just I like to break things all the way down to like single Lego blocks for me.
Okay.
I just want to make sure.
Yes. Yes.
So I just want to make sure walking. You saying it, walking. Come on, spirit. Now, come on. I'm practicing magic by walking in my faith.
Teach.
The very thing that they tell you is wrong in the doctrine. They tell you magic is wrong and it ain't supposed to be, but when you walk in your faith, you're practicing magic. You're a magician when you walk in your faith.
Yes.
So,
isn't that what our brother Jesus the Christ was over 2,000 years ago? If you looked at what he did, some would call it magic. when I look at how my life is transforming as a part of being a practicing student of the mystery school, some would call it magic. I call it magic.
I call it magic, and then go so far as to say that it's magic over logic. It's magic over logic. That's my motto. That's what I live
Okay.
by. You know why? Because that's where the results are.
Right. Now, your sister Sharifa Amin's definition of make believe, and make sure you put this down on your notes, because this is what will help you to see the truth in what is pseudocode and what is true code or original code. Make believe, travelers, is pretending that what is false is true. Simple as that. So I'm going to give you an example of how I raised my boys. I know we all used to say we don't get any workbooks on how to be parents. I tried to use a lot of wisdom raising my boys. So when this season of the year would come around, and at the time, they had a time where I homeschooled them, but at this time they were going to regular school. I would teach them what I knew the school was going to be teaching them about Santa Claus and Halloween and different things like that. So I would give them the truth, and I would tell them you can still do your make-believe but know the truth. So this is what I would tell them about Santa Claus. I would say, in school, they're going to tell you that there is a white man that's jolly and fat and smiles all the time, and that there's some reindeer that fly all over the earth on one night and gives away toys to little children. I said, that's make-believe. I said, and you can have your make-believe, but let me also give you where you should place your faith. You should place your faith in Mama and Daddy Claus. That's me and your daddy. Mama and Daddy Claus. We are the cause for all the toys that you're going to see under that tree. So if there's anything extra you need, you might want to pray for us to get an increase in money, because it's Mama and Daddy Claus that's going to ride out in the night and make sure that you got you some toys on Christmas morning. And if you happen to see any white man coming to the door, he probably come to turn off the water or something like that. It usually ain't to bring you nothing, boo-boo. I just want y'all to know that as you grow up. I'm trying to prepare you for life. You see a white man coming to the door, come get us, because it usually ain't going to be nothing friendly. Most of the time it's not. And we going to have to handle it. He ain't coming through the door or through down the roof unless he's trying to do something usually that ain't going to make us happy. We not going to be happy about it.
You ain't lying, though.
But you can go to school and you can color that Santa Claus on that paper any color you want to color them. Do what, smile at the teacher, but know the difference between make-believe and faith.
Okay. 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 Make-believe is what you play when you outside when you a kid, and we didn't have cell phones growing up. We went outside and we played with our imagination. We played make-believe.
Okay.
We played make-believe.
Okay. So, travelers, the purpose of me telling you this is because in order to make you a slave, they gave you make-believe. You can't thrive, live your life. I mean, it's okay to know that if you know the difference. But to say, okay, from now on, I'm going to run around here and tell the world that if I need a woman, I need to get my woman from the rib of a man. That's make believe, boo. That's if I want some eggs, I need to take a bunny rabbit and shake it. Because on Easter they told me that bunnies lay eggs. That's make believe, boo. That make believe.
They lay chocolate eggs with weird stuff in the middle. They come wrapped in foil to say Cadbury on the outside.
Okay. They had you out there eating that pookie poop because them rabbits be letting little round stuff out. But it ain't eggs, baby. It ain't eggs. You want to know why you short-circuiting? Let's get back to these fibs. Let me get back to these fibs. He told them, I'm about to tell you some more of his make-believe. Here's some of them fibs. Know the difference between a fib and a fable. A fib is a straight lie. A fable is a story you tell that has deeper hidden meaning or wisdoms in it. We used to have great fables generations ago. Great fables. They would be stories that had deeper meanings behind them. I would go so far as to say that the creation nation that we visited, in the way the creation story is written in the Isis gene, is written in a way of a fable. Because a day is like 1,000 years. You got a lot going on. And I just pulled from it as my divine team gave me the poetic scheme for how we would imagine and visit. But there are deeper revelations. But then you get into the garden plantation and you're not dealing with a fable, you're dealing with fibs. Straight there. And they've got you believing in fibs as your faith. You think that plantation was paradise. You want to get back to being deaf, blind, dumb, and naked. You think that's the way to be. I just wish that Eve had never given Adam the apple, because we could still be on the plantation, working for the Lord. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. But in the original nation, they, the essence, the source, when they made their male and female, they served them. They served them up the whole world. They said, this is all yours. Ain't no tree forbidden to you. Ain't nothing. Subdue it all. You got it all. It's all yours.
Be fruitful and multiply. Such a difference.
You're going to have to face the fact that these were not the same stories or retelling of the story. One was a fable that was designed by our mothers to help us to tap into our original creation, our original stories, to pull from it who we really are. One was a fib designed by perhaps King James Council. I know they was counseling about something. I'm not sure all what. But it was a fib that came about, and maybe it has a great depth of reality to it, because we know that the world fell some kind of way. So even way before the Council of Nicaea, when they decided to take from our mothers the men of our color, decided to plant this plantation and erect this strange nation that would be filled with guilt and that would one day send out their children to bring our entire planet into darkness. Not the good darkness, but the darkness of the mind, the sleep. When they tell you that they hate the woke even though they gentrified the term, it means that they don't want you to awaken to who you are. Because if you awaken to who you are, they won't be able to straight up lynch you, hang you from trees. And let me tell you this reason why I had to have you suspend your fear for a moment. Because I need to tell you this little secret, lovely one. Even though you have stayed under his guilt teachings and allowed the Lord to run your house and all the struggles you deal with, he still hung your sons from trees just the other day in Mississippi. That one young man got a whole church backing him up. A whole church. So it don't even matter, boo. If you try to please the Lord, he still kills you. Because your very presence is a glitch in his system, a pseudocode. Your very body is a threat to his pseudo nation. Because if you ever accepted your righteous station, that would be the end of his situation. So he gonna kill you regardless, so you might as well go on and accept yourself. At least try that. He calls me a witch regardless, so I just went on ahead and accept myself. I think I'm a beautiful witch.
Looking gorgeous, sis. Looking gorgeous.
Because it didn't matter about my sisters in their church. They still drowned them. We got so many drowned, missing bodies. So maybe that's why you've had to say all your life, don't let me have to take this, get out my religion, lay this Holy Ghost down. Because your own essence knew it was make-believe. Let me put the make-believe down so I can whip that ass. Your very essence knows the truth. I tell you what I believe, I ain't got to put it down to whip that ass. Okay. It's going to help me.
Okay. It's going to stand behind me and it's going to cover me and make sure that it's thorough. What's about to go down is thorough. Okay. All the way thorough. I want you to be mad because you ain't got nothing to say. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can say. You can't get up. I want you to hold your pearls, ma'am. I want you to have that face like, did you just say that, lady dude? Yes. Okay. Yes. I'll tell you what, you gonna wish I had this. You said I'd take off something to whip that ass, because when the spirit move with me, baby, we moving.
Okay. So I want us to look at these fibs of this garden. He also, on the garden plantation, he did not want them to realize the truth of them coming into this reality together, as in the original creation story, that they were to rule together as one, in one mind and one spirit, that they would understand their functions. It would be a divine dance. When you get to the plantation, he makes the man think he was born by himself. Let him walk around for I don't know how long all by himself, poor thing. And then made him think he was worse off than the animals. Made him increase his pain by making him go name the animals knowing he was lonely. So that he could say, damn, even the animals got a better station than me. He didn't start out with no love for this man whom he had formed, his thinking. There's no love there. You want this Lord to run your house? As for you and your house, you're going to serve this Lord? That's why he has to slip into the book. Love your enemies. Do good to them that persecute you and use you. So that you would be okay with him continuing to run your house and your mind. Hanging your children from trees. The family has yet to download to me the significance of the trees, because trees that's another thing that's been in my spirit that's going to come forth eventually. The deeper meaning behind the trees. So the Lord of the plantation wants you, one, to think that you and your woman don't have the same birthday. Two, that your woman came out of you, Adam, so that she's lesser than you. She's flesh of your flesh and bone of your bone. So you're relating to her from a material standpoint rather than a sacred divine standpoint. The thinking has been totally turned upside down.
I just have to say this, because again, you brought me to the neighborhood. I'm gonna look at the houses and the stores. You brought me here. I'm gonna see what's going on. So if the only tree in this Eden was the tree of knowledge,
actually, he tells at the end of it, when you realize he got a team working with him, he's angry with them, and he put them out. He says, lest they discover the tree of life, which I think he hid the tree of life from them. He put them, because it's a whole damn test. But he says, lest they discover the tree of life and eat of it and become gods like us. This is what that Lord said.
And first of all, like us, that means there was more than one.
There it is.
I'm no grammatical genius, but like us means, more than one.
That's true.
And if it's the tree of knowledge, that means that even if you eat of this fruit, there's more to it than what you initially see, because it's going to grow within you.
Yeah.
So you're going to grow into the knowledge and understanding that there is an us.
Okay.
There is an us. And we don't want you to know that there is an us, because we don't want you like us. Because when you eat this, just of the knowledge, let alone not even the tree of life, just the knowledge.
Okay.
That's why. Is that why you mad? Because we don't ate of the tree of knowledge. Therefore, that opened new things, like leaves unfurl, like branches grow. And once we gain new knowledge, like leaves fall, that old knowledge is going to fall, and new things are going to blossom and come into existence.
Wow.
And we're going to be able to build up, like that trunk has built up that bark to protect itself. We're going to be able to build up our own bark to protect ourselves. And hold on the inside of us the rings of the universe, the rings of existence, the rings of history within ourselves. Is that what you're scared of? When we eat of this tree of knowledge, that no matter where we go, only thing we have to do is say the word, and it plants roots in somebody else. And therefore, it can spread somewhere else though.
Say.
Is is that where the fear is?
Yes.
I'm a unpack this.
I
I,
say. Oh my. Yes. That's
mm,
that's deep and beautiful. Yes, sis.
mm,
I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. I'm full of appreciation for this journey. And at this moment, I'm going to go ahead and return to my original attire because there is some more on a higher note that we want to give you before we conclude. But I believe you'll receive it easier in a different wardrobe. So I'm going to go back to my beautiful blessed red, and we will bring you to the conclusion of this program. Yes, it's a program. We programming too. Ashe.
I say. Ooh.
All right, family. We are coming to the conclusion of this beautiful story time from the starting line. And we are going to share a few clips with you, fair use, under the fair use policy. Basically, just to highlight, to illuminate some things for you. One under the fair use is this is just a short piece of a beginning of a computer science course for kids that says what are algorithms.
Today we are going to learn about something very important in computer science, algorithms. An algorithm is simply a clear plan made up of steps that we follow in the right order to solve a problem or complete a task. It is similar to a recipe in cooking. When you want to prepare a dish, you do not just mix ingredients at random. Instead, you follow specific instructions. First you prepare the ingredients, then you cook them in a certain way, and finally you serve the meal. If you change the order or skip a step, the result will not be the same. Algorithms work in exactly the same way. Imagine preparing a sandwich. You first take slices of bread, then spread something on one slice, and finally put them together. If you change the order and put the slices together before spreading anything, you would not get the results you expected. This shows why algorithms are not only about what we do, but also about when and how we do it. Computers use
Okay.
Not only about what we do, but when and how we do it.
Okay. Okay.
So wait. Hold on. So isn't that also faith?
Absolutely.
So if your faith in algorithm is the same, and you're essentially performing magic, just a little bit of structure, right? Will help you get to where you need to be. So that's where the mystery school comes into. And
Come
just,
on now.
just,
We had the same thought at the same time,
I'm
sis.
just a little,
Ashe.
ooh, just some structure. Just, I'm just,
Stepping into the lab.
just,
You putting the codes together, seeing what work and what don't work. How this recipe's supposed to go. Ashe.
Shay, I say. And family, I promise you, we don't talk about like all of this happening right here. We don't talk about all this before we get here. This is y'all. This is real life. This is how this works. This is how this works. When you move in that magic,
Okay.
when you move in that faith, when you're following that algorithm, when you have found that structure, you're gonna move in your magic, baby.
Here is an instruction from our ancestor, who is one of the divine spirits I'd like to dedicate this particular broadcast to, Mama Zogbe.
History, but we're still disconnected from our ancestors and our spirits. So therefore, we're still lost. Right. And so I pray, and I'm optimistic because this next generation, especially what they're about to go through with this globalism, will be in enough stress and pain that they won't care what others think. And why should you? No other group has a problem being who they claim to be but us. And yet, you are the source of everything. You are the source of everything. You are. You have to believe that. And if this earth is destroyed, one of you all will be left. Magical history.
Okay, and there's one other clip I want you to hear from her, beloved.
So black women, you know who you are, but many of them have misaligned themselves into paths that have nothing to do with them, and that your mothers and the spirits that your mother bequeathed to you will not validate. You cannot make it up as you go along like the Western feminists do. You can't do that. Can't feel it and invent it. They are divine laws. And you need to, and that is what you need to link back up with. You just sit and watch how this whole drama, global drama, plays out. It can only implode on itself. Until she is restored, your strength, your aggressiveness, what they call aggressiveness, your sense of self, any other woman would have never made it through what you went through. None.
So
black women, you know
who you are. Black women, you know who you are.
You know,
no other woman could have gone through what you have gone through and come out as powerful and as beautiful as you are. You must be a goddess. You must walk as God. And when you fully accept and connect with your ancestors, and when you fully accept your own and be your own, the second ancestor I dedicate this broadcast to is Master Fard Muhammad, who taught that the black woman is 75% of the problem and the solution. That leaves you brothers with just 25. He said it, I didn't. And he raised a great nation. But the reality is 75% is about 3/4 to your 1/4, my brother. So I think you ought to listen to your mother on this one. And yes, one thing that Mama Zogbe teaches is that we really, at the point of when we are completely done with this fallen reality, and as we begin to build anew a world of justice, we must come to terms with what it was besides your betrayal, brothers, that caused our decline. I totally believe that in my own soul, and this is just my theory, that we both move too much in our egos. And I totally believe that the ego is the only thing that has to be sacrificed or put on the cross, if you will. Because we did not sacrifice our egos at the time they were needed. I don't believe the ego is all bad either. I just believe that when you are in error, you have to be willing to sacrifice your damn ego so that a righteous world can continue. This, no matter your power, your status. That is the agreement that I believe must be made as we rebuild our righteous reality. And it is being born. And it will be. So let it be issued. So let it be done. Did you have anything, sis? I wanted to dedicate this broadcast to Mama Zogbe, to Pastor Farad Muhammad, and to our living divine goddess, the Honorable Vicky Dillard. I know that we are doing these broadcasts in order to help in the fields of bringing those righteous minds who have been lost to themselves back into the fold. But we honor her for more than just that, even though we are working with her. We honor her because she is more than meets the eye. Just like she says, Minister Farrakhan is more than meets the eye. She is more than meets the eye.
Man. Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
And so we are completely in gratitude and appreciation for this broadcast family. I would say to you that I believe that our rhythm, because algorithm has the word rhythm in it, and go, which means to movement, and that al, which is the or of a particular movement in that rhythm. I believe we have an additional code, which I call our alpha rhythm, because when I looked up the alpha and omega, the Merriam-Webster dictionary really didn't have any real understanding of it, other than that it comes out of the scriptures. And then they say some brothers use it as an alpha male being the more powerful male that leads the way. But alpha really being that it means the beginning, to me it speaks to the original source. To those who are that of us who come from that original blackness. I am the alpha. So we have to learn and begin to practice our alpha rhythms. We got the algorithm, and they're giving birth to that more and more with the artificial intelligence. But we are tapping more and more into our alpha rhythms because we have decided to take our world back. And we have decided that no one will be allowed to continue to destroy it. It is ours. It is done. So, beloved travelers, I would tell you that the ultimate sin in this dying world, in this recreation of the Eden plantation that we all been walking around in, the ultimate sin is hidden in your skin. We are what's glitching this system. It's called melanin. When you fully accept yourself, there is no way in heaven, in hell, or on this earth that they can win. When you move, and as we begin to move as our true selves, earth will reset, and we will begin again.
So it is.
And so it
So
is.
it
Ashe.
so it is.
Brasata. With that, I think I have completed our assignment for this particular broadcast. I'm thankful. I mentioned the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I'm thankful to him. There is a scripture that I dedicate to him, Matthew 25:23. And I'm going to say that Elijah, because they have Lord here, and I like to put the real terms or the more honest terms for me into scripture. Elijah said to Minister Farrakhan, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy and into all that has been promised from the beginning of time." I give that to my spiritual father, whose voice I heard in my teenage years when I was suicidal. I thank you, we thank you for your service. And it has been a pleasure as I watch this world in all of its pseudo parts glitch. Our goddess Vicky was recently talking about how that they are coming against black soldiers, trying to give them lots of rules and regulations that will harm them, because what they're about to try or attempt to do, the melanated brothers would cause the system to glitch, because we got a righteousness that's a part of us. No matter how much make-believe we got going on, it's in our essence, baby. It's in our essence.
It's literally just natural. Literally.
They had to destroy over 40-something odd towns that we built, either by floods or by bombing or fire, because they sense, whether they can put it in words or not, who we are. Your essence is the glitch.
Yeah, they didn't want to see that they saw you like a virus, and you never want a virus to spread, right?
And if they see us like a virus, we might as well be the virus. And take this motherfucker and shut it down.
All the way down. That hard reset.
Okay. We got to wipe the whole system and begin again. That's what you got to do when you got a virus within. Wipe that Mickey Ficky.
But I tell you what, though, when you wipe that whole reset, and it starts you off with the default setting from the motherboard.
0 to SHERO, baby. And that mother, I just caught that. I'm slow, but that mother, what Vicky say? Mothership, mother tongue, motherboard. Selena doing motherboard. What you say?
Motherboard.
We're talking about the original codes, baby. Ha!
You ride them on them. Every system runs on a motherboard. chance, that default setting, that hard reset. Said she
Okay.
went back to what? Who said? The motherboard said.
The motherboard. The motherboard.
I'm gonna be in trees and motherboards. The trees and motherboards. The rest of the day today. Trees and motherboards.
Everywhere at the digger we deep, the more we find our mothers. And we usher them back in, baby. Ooh, Rica. We are the portals. Yes, we are. And so we are indeed gratitude. I would be perhaps remiss if I don't mention my deep and profound sadness for Candace, who I just really discovered has her name comes from the ancient title of Egyptian queens and goddesses. According to our teacher, they used to be called Candaces. And she has been doing her very best because her melanin is glitching in the system to find the truth behind the assassination / murder of her friend. And I'm saddened for her because I hate to see anybody suffer. But I'm also saddened for her because I recognize that all her brilliance is not appreciated in the world that she has chosen to be in. All her brilliance, nobody will wholeheartedly say, I'm with Candace. But with our little Gideon army over here, with the Vicky Nation, we will say to you, we stand with Vicky. You come for Vicky, you came for us.
Just saying.
We don't say that without, it is what it is, boo. And so sometimes it's better to have a smaller crew. Especially when you're trying to do what we're trying to do. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Gideon story. He started out with thousands, I look at Candace, she's got millions of followers. But yet, me, a zero compared, I feel sad for her. I do. I honestly do. I told my sister Shalina some time ago that I never viewed Candace quite like I viewed the traders, like Roland Martin and Joyce Reed. There are certain souls who sell their soul like Judas did for a few coins. I looked at Candace and I saw someone who truly disliked or hated herself and those who looked like her, and befriended a world that would never completely embrace her. I know from the depths of myself that the man that she is falling on the sword for, her friend, would never have been that kind of friend to her. I know that. She say she know, but she don't know, but she know though. I know that. Like, I know what I don't know. I know that. And so that's what makes me sad for you. And I would give you, I thought of a scripture because you were talking about your dreams. And I love the fact I'm dealt with by my dreams too. So I saw a podcast where you were saying certain things had been revealed to you about your friend being betrayed in your dreams. And you're moving in a certain wisdom and how you're trying to handle things. I have an appreciation for that. Then you revealed that he actually had a dream himself. And he knew that he was not going to be here long. I would tell you that he had that dream because he was in proximity to you. One thing we have learned as mystics is that, and I shared this and I believe our inaugural podcast, there was a king named Saul who basically was full of ego and didn't want to lose his kingship. So he was going to see prophets and stuff trying to figure out how not to let David, and you were just talking about David and Jonathan and their friendship, how not to let David become king. He wanted to keep he was lost in his ego sauce. So anyway, during his time with the prophets, he started to prophesy. And they said, wow, is Saul among the prophets? But it was really just because he was in their energy and their vicinity. It was just that powerful. It's just what we do when we get around it. I notice I do it all the time. I know that I'm valued more than for my skill set, wherever even my employment. I bring an energy. I know this. I bring a certain energy that's valued. And I even shared in one of my podcasts how my sergeant, I was vibing one day, my sergeant prophesied to me. He said, please feel free to give up if you need to. He wasn't even talking to me, but he was talking to me. He wasn't talking to me, but he was talking to me. He prophesied. And I believe that Candace's friend prophesied to her because of her melanin, even though she has decided to be on the side of history or the nation that she has decided to stand with. And I already see many of her regrets for being blind to what she chose. But I would tell you to read Daniel 2 is what I was given for you. And this is a story about Nebuchadnezzar and a dream that he had. Because you were talking about dreams. And dreams have been real powerful in this season. The veil is very thin in this season. But it goes on to talk about these kingdoms when it's finally interpreted. And you told us that your friend called you the Iron Lady. When I read that part of the statue that was dealing with the iron, I thought of you, Candace. And when I read the part that at the last end was dealing with the stone that came out of nowhere, I went and I grabbed 3 smooth stones. I have a little can burner that looks like a fireplace and has stones around it. I grabbed 3 smooth stones because in that story of the dreams in Daniel, a stone comes out of nowhere, out of the invisible. And brings down all those kingdoms. The stone has great significance. We think about, and you brought it up in your last podcast, Candace, about David slaying Goliath with the stone. David had 3 smooth stones, but he only needed 1. And when I begin my book, and you can click below if you want to get the book, it's called The Black Goddess Resurrection. At the very beginning of my book, I say, who is that stone that the builders rejected, that becomes the head cornerstone? Who is that stone that they travel to Mecca and walk around like a rapture around it just to hopefully go touch that black, smooth stone that they actually broke, our teacher tells us, but that is being restored. Who is that stone? So anyway, I think I said everything that needed to be said. Hallelujah. I am good and in great appreciation for who we are and where we have gone. We thank you for traveling with us, travelers. We bid you adieu. And we say, do what you gotta do. Because the Titanic is sinking, baby. And the rhythm, you remember on the ship, they had a band that was playing the rhythms. Some of them were pseudo rhythms because they was willing to go down with the ship. On this particular ship, we are your lifeboats, the mystery school. It's enough lifeboats if you want one, baby.
Better get on. You better get on. I promise you, you won't on. You won't on. You won't on. You won't on. There's plenty of room. We gonna roll beside you. We gonna be there. It's on you if you gotta get yourself in. We just gonna get up.
Okay. Because the time is coming and quickly will soon be here where you will be dealing with the story of how you had the brides who were on their way to meet the bridegroom and you wanted some oil and she said, I just got enough oil to get me through, boo. I gave you plenty of time to get your oil up. Now you're going to have to go back and get your own. It's going to come a time where we're going to have to take our lifeboat way out, further away from that sinking ship, lest it pull us in too. And it will be taking you because we got to get our lifeboats away from the tide. So I suggest you come on in, my friend. And with that, we end. Much love, much appreciation. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Join the mystery school today.
Yeah.